Hey everybody, Von here with the VonBlogVlog, and in today's video we're shooting episode 4 of the VonBlogVlog, where I just kind of talk about what I've been up to. I answer y'all's questions and read some comments from last video. I do want to let you guys know that even if I don't type a reply or read your comment here in the video, I have read your comment. If it has like the little channel loved your comment thing, that's or at least a thumbs up from me, I've read your comment, and that's me just trying to get through everything without completely overwhelming myself as I do. Which I did take last week off, so we've been doing this now for 5 weeks, even though this is just episode 4, but I'm gonna let that go. We were gearing up for our niece, Maddie from Tennessee, to come visit us, and she's been here for a couple of days, and we're having a phenomenal time, and it completes our home to have her in the house. So nice. But leading up to that, I was having a bit of a mental breakdown. Mostly, I'm fine. Everything's fine. But I was just being in a really dark place and really insecure and lashing out. I think I don't know. I was being a bit of a mess. So I'd like to start off by apologizing to Rachel, who had commented. She said in response to episode 3, "I'm not a religious person, but I am here to sing the hymns at the garden church. Keep being you always," which I'm like, right on. She said, "And meh, I didn't mean to make you feel bad about my comment on your humming and giggles. I wish I chose less harsh words. I'm so sorry," with a sad face. So, and she said, "P.S. I was imagining you making the gigantic leaves behind you out of polymer clay." First off, I'm definitely gonna have to make some little fairy hostas, because I just think that would look so cool, in a little fairy garden. And second off, it's please don't apologize. I don't want to use the term "I was a wounded animal in a ditch," but it's whenever you have a pet or an animal who is hurt and you're trying to help them and they snarl and snap, it's not you, it's that if I were the animal and me being "Oh no, my feelings are hurt," it wasn't you hurting my feelings, it was me being in pain and fixating on, anybody could have said anything to me at that time and I would have been hurt. Just the state of mind that, does that make sense? I don't know. I'm still figuring all this crap out. I just live here in this body. I don't know what's going on. But I was, how do I describe this? Within every person is the potential to be a seed and an old growth forest simultaneously. We have so much within ourselves that's dormant in its seed state, that's amazing in its full grown 200-year-old oak tree. We've got limbs breaking off, we've got new growth sprouting. We are forests with so much happening all at once inside of us, but sometimes it can feel like your forest has been burnt down, or a tornado has come through, or it's just so much dying off all at once. And that can be really painful and uncomfortable and difficult to process, and difficult to be able to look unjaded upon the new growth, the seedlings that were dormant, that took that forest fire to be able to resprout, to be able to look at them with fresh eyes and not be yeah, this is just not going to work out either. And I feel like I was in a very just crappy state of mind for a couple of weeks or months, probably. I hadn't taken a day off since February, and I think I was getting to just feeling like nothing that I was doing was good enough for my own standard, or I was failing y'all and myself as a business, just a whole bunch of trees falling over, in my internal forest, stuff that I let too many weeds grow in my garden and they'd taken over. And so I was having to go through and rip out weeds, and I felt like I was really disrupting the root systems of other fundamental parts of myself. But maybe they needed disrupted. Who knows? I'm speaking gibberish at this point. But I'm sorry, Rachel, that my feelings were hurt, not by what you said, but just that I was in that place and that I pinned it on you. It's like, please don't ever apologize for saying or thinking something. You're good. Like, I hope we're good. Like, this is me high-fiving. Are we good? I hope so, because I still love you. So, like, I don't know. I am going to go through and answer some of y'all's questions, if you're still watching. So, Elise had asked in episode 3, and this is, I paraphrased hard on this one, but she had asked, how do you suggest I get into wire wrapping and polymer clay in a way that won't hurt my already hurting hands? Because she talked about, she has disabilities in addition to like rheumatoid arthritis. And the biggest key in what I've researched and what I've heard from other folks is that you gotta keep moving. Even when it hurts. And it's like, we all know our own bodies better than anybody, and we get to decide where that line of too much, where that line of pain is, and whether or not we want to ride it and for how long. But it's the best thing that I can recommend is to have good pliers that feel good in your hands already. And to just listen to your body as you go. Sometimes all you've got is 5 minutes of wire wrapping in you, then just do 5 minutes of wire wrapping. This is your creative and artistic journey. There's no rules saying that, like in today's live stream that we just did, which was phenomenal, by the way. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with us. But I was making a bunch of earrings in a way that, like, mass producing, like, 10 pairs of earrings in the same way, and sitting down and, whenever I finish up this, I'm going to go down and finish it. That's just the way that I craft today for that project. Like, your crafting can and hopefully is completely different in a way that suits you and what your desires and goals, both personally and professionally are. Like, there's no right and wrong way to do this. I cannot emphasize that enough. So again, if you've got 5 minutes in you, do 5 minutes. If you've got 8 hours in you, go for 8 hours. But just picking it up and doing it will teach you more than anybody else's experiences could. It's, because you're never going to know your own path till you walk it. Profound wisdom. A tip from Margaret is that tomato hornworms glow under a UV light. I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to have to figure out a way, if I find any, to get video of it, because we had gotten some of these little, like, flashlights that are UV lights, so I can go out there at night and, like, I'm going to be checking all my tomatoes to see if I have tomato hornworms, and I kind of hope I find some. So I never thought I'd hope for a pest in my garden, but I'm like, this would be pretty cool. Just saying. Mind the Corner asks, do you, like, I actually went through and, like, read through y'all's comments and, like, wrote down the questions and stuff. So do you have any good pagan music for listening and dancing to? Probably my favorite pagan specific bands are Omnia's older work. Spiral Rhythms. Absolutely love them. Carrie with Unleash the Goddess is actually the lead singer of that band, and she's the lady, like, they're the folks that I get almost all of my tie-dye from, and I absolutely love them. And for like 5 years I was buying clothes from them and listening to their music and didn't realize that they were the same people, and then whenever I did, I fangirled out like hard. So that was interesting. Yeah. And then Moving Breath, let me Google it. Actually, I had intended to Google this already. But it's either, no, don't listen to what I'm saying. Moving Breath, is that what it is? But they're a band from, like, maybe, yeah, it's Moving Breath. They're worth a Google if you like old school, like, chanty, like, pagan songs. And it's not even, like, specifically, like, a lot of it's very like non-denominational, if that makes sense. Just like really like feminine, divine, kind of positive, very group friendly, like singing and chants and stuff. But then also I love a lot of music that anything with like bagpipes and didgeridoos, like Afro-Celt sound system is really cool. I love Lorena McKenna. Enigma, Emancipator is one that like I can have Emancipator going through whether I'm crafting or doing yoga or hoop dancing or anything. Like I absolutely love Emancipator. The piano guys, like again, it's like it's whatever music resonates with you. Like it doesn't have to be like specifically themed. There are a lot of like hymns and things like like deep South Baptist hymns that move my soul. They move my heathen soul. And it's just, so I don't know, just whatever gets it ruffles your Jimmy, I guess. But just those are some musics that I really enjoy the composition and a lot of the lyrics and different things, and so I like those. So do y'all have any favorite? I just kicked the tripod. Do y'all have any favorite music that like gets you into like a spiritual mindset? Diva Pramal, I don't think I pronounced her name right, but I really enjoy her music as well. She does a lot of like Sanskrit chants and different things from the Vedas, which are like Hindu spiritual texts as far as I'm aware. Again, educated by the internet. So hopefully that helps a bit, maybe. Jack says, would you watch project videos that are just step-by-step with no user engagement? Honestly, those are my favorite to watch. I do really like the craft man, like the guy who has like the puppet, and I enjoy making videos that have a lot of user engagement, like just because after making a video a day for almost 2 years, I rely pretty heavily on y'all's user engagement just to keep my content, to keep from feeling like I'm just making the same project video. Like I like having that communication and feedback and stuff. But whenever like Randy and I this morning we're just watching like back to back like resin casting lathe videos or something that Randy and I will spend a long time, no music, no voice, like it's just the crafting noises. We'll watch those all day long. But I like it because it's like sorry, I found this in my thing and I'm giving myself a little mustache, so I'll just set that down. Sometimes it's nice to see something and let your brain think its own thoughts, like I do like hearing the thoughts of the artist as well, but it's nice to have that option to be able to just see it happen, to just watch and think, or tune out for a bit and just watch it happen and be made. It's almost like watching a plant grow over time lapse. Some of these projects, just watching it grow into itself and the artist kind of shepherding that into existence, and that's really cool. So yeah, 100%, 10 out of 10 would watch again project videos that, as you put it, don't have user engagement, but I feel like it's still engaging for sure, because you're still showing content. You're showing something be birthed into existence. Like, how is that not engaging? But I get what you mean. Letty, hey Letty, says, what is your favorite quote / saying? And she had shared the quote, "They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same," by Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. I like that quote, I really do, because in my heart, my impulse, if people laugh at me for being different, for dancing to my own dance, I just when I come dance with me, like, and it's just keep on going. Like I try to not revel in being like, laughing at somebody else because they're all the same, and I try to not pity people because it's like I can't judge their happiness, but I do feel sad sometimes whenever people that I hoped would come dance with me are like, "No, you're weird," and I'm like, "Okay, dance," But probably one of my favorite where's it at? Consulting the Google. If I had any good sense, I would actually go through and edit this stuff out. But you know me, I'm probably not going to. No, not at the movie. I found it. It's a quote referring to masks. You know, Shel Silverstein, of course. That's like late elementary and middle school for me. I just like absorbed all of that. But her poem, that is, she had blue skin, and so did he. He kept it hid, and so did she. They searched for blue their whole life through, then passed right by and never knew. Heartbreak. Like, so I don't know. That's one of my favorite poems because it's like, for so long I hid what I was and who I am from myself and the world, just like trying so hard to fit into somebody else's mold, anyone else's mold, because I was convinced that my mold was wrong. Yeah, and it's just, so to have read that when I was like, gosh, somewhere between the age of 10 and 23, I don't know, really resonated. Honestly, I was probably Maddie's age. I was probably like 12 to 13. But this quote here, which one was it? We all wear masks. I'm going to read it verbatim. We all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot remove them without removing some of our own skin. And that goes hand in hand with this other quote of, we understand how dangerous a mask can be. We all become what we pretend to be. And one of Randy's lessons for me as we were growing together in the early stages of our relationship is, it's like, if you can't, and these aren't his words, this is just the lesson that grew over like 3 or 4 years of, he used to like, not like make me, but like he was like, do this with me, please. And he would stand with me in front of the mirror and make me say, like, he's like, you're going to say something nice about yourself to yourself. You've got to. You absolutely got to. And the first time he only made me say like one thing. And then the next time he was like, let's shoot for 3. You know, maybe. And then it got to where I could say 10 nice things, not just about myself, but to myself. And y'all have no idea how healing that shit is. Like, sorry not to, be that way, I guess. But no, it's like, it was profound to just hear it, to not just think it, but to hear it and to see myself saying it puts the image in your own mind of you saying something kind to you. And it's like, that was a tremendous leap forward for me, and it became that self-love was like this lotion that it's like, if I feel like I don't have it within me, I can at least put it on every day and hope that something sinks in. It's like, my default mode was to be an angry, bitter, just hurt person, and so I had to practice. I had to put on this lotion of patience and kindness and practice being who I wanted to be, because I was not happy being who I was, who I had become after wearing this mask all through my adolescence of who I thought I was or wanted to be or thought other people wanted me to be. I had to practice, put on this new self, this new skin, so I could grow into it. Because if we don't take it, it's like how we were talking about last episode, if we don't take steps to keep our garden weeded and choose what grows there and train and shepherd and take care of what is there, then we're going to be having problems with our tomatoes farther down the line. Like, you got to train your tomato up the stake, up the cage, up the supports to get it to bear the fruit that you want. Like, we have, as people, a very active role in who we're going to be. Like, and if we aren't being active in that, somebody is. Whether it's the people around us who hopefully, if we're lucky, are lifting us up to be our best selves and like helping us to grow and helping us to bear good fruit from ourselves and our lives. But more often than not, it's people who would just as soon come over and knock our fruit off the vine before it's even ripe. So it's we've got to tend to our gardens. And this leads me into, I'm not just senselessly rambling mostly this time. I found a way to segue into what I was going to say. My favorite quote was a personal quote from probably my senior year in high school. Mr. Jean, Jack Jean, if I doubt he would ever watch one of my videos, but if ever he does hear this, Mr. Jean, you were like the best teacher that I ever had. Like, that Lincoln County High School, like, you were phenomenal. You were life-changing, and you helped me build foundations to be the person that I've become, who I actually kind of like sometimes. But we were talking about something, what, I don't know, in honors English, and it's just over the year of taking his course, I had come into this quote of, we have to tend to our gardens and build our arcs. And the tending to the garden concept is weeding and planting and cultivating and being active shepherds of our own lives. And the arcs are from actually Evan Almighty with Steve Carell, because I'm a dork. But it's the acts of random kindness, and that doing these little things in our day-to-day life, just why not be helpful to each other? Why not, do these little things? Building our arcs is, you can weather the storm through a ship made, you can build that arc, you can do these daily kindnesses, and it'll be something. It can make tangible change in the world. And so that's when I would feel very overwhelmed, because I remember it was my senior year in high school. I had bounced checks. I had bounced a check so I could get lunch at school, and then I would take like extra apples and stuff from the lunch line home so that Randy could eat. And we were living off of, like, we had the rest of like a 50-pound bag of rice that we had gotten on clearance, because like it had been like somebody was opening up a box and had like cut into it, so they just taped it up and put it on the clearance rack. We'd gotten that. We had a bologna chub and pears off the pear tree in the backyard, and that was our groceries for like 2 weeks until we got paid again. So I was bringing home anything that would travel well from my school lunches. But yeah, I'd bounced a check so I could eat, and I felt very overwhelmed and very like, it's hard to resonate with other, no offense to any high schoolers that are watching this, but it's a whole nother world when you're living in your parents' house and they're paying all the bills, and you're just like, you don't have to worry about those things yet, which I feel like as a high school student, you shouldn't. You should focus on getting your education and stuff. But the position I was in, I was very much done with high school. I could not like connect with any of my other classmates, because I felt like I was existing in a completely different world. I had bills that needed paid. Like, I'm not worried about, oh, what am I gonna wear to prom? I was worried about, how am I gonna keep my electricity on? It's like, how are we gonna eat? Like, so it was a weird time, and I felt overwhelmed often. And whenever I would feel overwhelmed, I would think, just keep tending my garden and building my arcs. Like, that's the core of my existence through everything. Whenever we're doing shows and we're like, winter's coming and sales are not going well, just tend my garden and build my arcs. Just keep on swimming, keep on crafting, just keep on keeping on, and just do the thing. And I've gotten through so far relatively intact, and I can deal with that. Like, I can dig it. So yeah, I hope that answered your question about what my favorite quote is tend to your garden and build your arcs, with like smiley face. So JJ says, how do you go about making traditional art into prints? Just to jump around everywhere. In the past, what I've done with traditional art is I'd make the piece, and I would make sure that it would like fit into my scanner, because we have like an 11x17 scanner from on Amazon, and I would make the piece and then just scan it and then crop it and do any kind of color adjusting with like if I want to do any filters or like tweak it or something, and then I would take it to a print shop. I would order prints sometimes from like Walgreens if they had a coupon, anywhere where I could get like an acid-free, pretty good quality print for as cheap as possible. But then with bigger pieces, I had gone to, here in Carthage, it's the Koken Art Studio or gallery, and the lady there, Coral Martin, who's a phenomenal photographer and just artist and everything she does. She has a giant like scanner, and I had paid her to scan the piece, do color adjusting. I had done like a greasy thumbprint on one of the sketches and was like, I really love this sketch, but it's got this big greasy thumbprint on it. And she photoshopped that out. And like tweaked it to where it was how I wanted the prints to be. And then she gave me the files for that in a couple of different formats. And I took that to a USA Print, which is a print shop in Joplin that does like Joplin, Missouri, that does like pamphlets and calendars, and like they do all sorts, full print service. They do like huge big signs and stuff, and they actually have where they can scan things as well. But I liked working with Coral. She did a really good job, and in the future I'd pay her to do that good work again. Yeah, and then I just ordered prints in whatever size that I wanted, and like any decent print shop will talk to you about the different options and will explain to you, like, if they're not being accommodating of you as the customer, like, because I told the fellow, I was like, I'm completely ignorant in all of this, so what would you recommend? And he had recommendations. He had done prints for other people who were doing like cosplay photos or like different things, and he really helped me to have a better idea of what I wanted, based off of what his company could provide. And I feel like if a company isn't willing to do that for you, don't give them your money. Go somewhere else where they're willing to work for you. Because it's not to be like, oh, the customer's always right, but it's like, I am the customer to this place because I don't have this skill set and capacity. Like, I'm paying them because they do. So, but that worked out pretty well. Holly says, and I cannot wait to see pictures of your garden, Holly. She asks, is your pond big enough to hold fish? I had put some like feeder goldfish in there whenever we first moved here, and I don't know what happened to them. Like, there weren't floating bodies, but they weren't in that pond anymore. So I don't know. I've been wanting to try again. I didn't know if maybe the water runoff from the roof complicated, like made it hard for the fish to live in the water. But we get like frogs, and frogs lay their eggs there and they grow up perfectly fine into tadpoles and into full-grown frogs. So I don't know. And I just didn't want to kill more fish if I didn't have to, but I would love to have fish in my pond. That would be like the coolest thing ever. And then I think we have one more question, which is by Sue. She says, what is a good craft for failing eyesight? And Sue, I can't even tell you how much, like, I think about this a lot because I don't have the best eyesight to start with, and I worry that, like, if I were to get, macular degeneration from, like, diabetes, or my eyesight's likely going to get much worse before it gets any better, for sure. I am already kind of, like, considering and saving for, like, not LASIK, but like I talked to the folks at LASIK and they're like, you're probably gonna need like retina replacements. I'm like, that's some future crap. But hopefully the technology will be really like moved forward in the next like 10 to 15 years before I really need that. But I don't know. Like, I've thought frequently, because so much of what I do is tactile, but it's tactile because I can see what I'm doing. I would recommend maybe sculpting. I have a lot of fun with that, and you can really feel, there's a lot of feeling going on there. The troll in me is like impressionist oil painting because it's all kind of blurry anyway. But I don't know. I'd recommend maybe music, because that's something that I imagine it'd be very difficult at first, but once you really get the muscle memory of where your hands are going, and you could like do, I'm sure that there's some sort of like sheet music reading program that will read the notes to you, or like maybe like a braille, or you can just blow it up great big, you know, the sheet music like on your print. If you've got like a computer and printer, you could enlarge it and print it so that you've got almost comically large sheet music. But you know, find a way, why not? But if you're musically inclined, I think that would bring a lot of joy forever, would be to make music, because that's a craft in and of itself. It really is. But those were all of our questions for this week. And I do want to say, I want to thank you guys first off for all of your participation in all this, because I've been having a really great time, and y'all just sharing your stories and asking thought-provoking questions and stuff, or, you know, helping me kind of along in a little bit of a self-exploration journey in different things. I feel like it's important to check in with yourself periodically, check and see if there's any weeds growing in the garden, maybe look at yourself from another perspective, or at least a different angle, and just be like, huh, okay. And I can't express my gratitude to you guys enough that you're coming along with me on this little bit of a journey. And I am doing a lot better. I think I never realized that I've bitten off more than I can chew until I'm choking on it. And I was choking for a minute there, but I'm good. A lot of y'all came in and slapped me real good on the back, and like everything's fine now. And not just fine, but I feel like I'm getting back on track with many things, professionally, personally, with my physical journey as well. I've been doing yoga with my niece Maddie, and I mean, she takes to it. She's a complete natural, like, and is so like, I don't enjoy making people do something that they don't like, aren't like inspired or motivated to do, and she is so like motivated from within to do so much of this stuff, and I'm just like, she's a joy to be around. And inspires me to be the best version of myself, and that's my favorite kind of person to be around, is somebody who brings out the best of me, these parts that I didn't even know were there. So that's pretty fun. But I think that's it for this week. I'd love to hear any kind of questions or comments or ideas that you guys have. I was interested in doing segments like bearing some really, really personal, like reparenting stuff kind of going on. So I'm gonna talk about it, even though I said the video was gonna be done. It's probably gonna go for a little bit longer. Sorry for the false finish. I was thinking about doing a mini series, or at least segments of called living life as a narcissist, like living as a narcissist. Because, and I know a lot of y'all will disagree with me, but keep in mind, I've been working hard for a long time. Randy and I both have been working hard for a long time on me to be a little less of a shit person. But I don't know. I watch a lot of videos about, you know, surviving narcissists, being friends with narcissists, you know, like just like all the different way that these sometimes very negative, you know, aspects can affect our life. And because I'm afraid of, at my worst, I'm pretty bad to be around, I think. And it's like, I would like to be able to function and live in a way where I'm not inflicting myself on the people around me who care about me. Like, I want to be able to function healthily and process things and not be a burden to myself or the people around me. And I do have a lot of narcissistic tendencies, I feel like, even though I filter them a lot. Like, it's, again, my default mode is being an asshole. Like, and I guess it's pretty normal for a lot of people, because there's a lot of assholes out there. But I don't know, it's something that I wanted to explore. But a lot of these videos that I watch really villainize narcissists, Not saying that they shouldn't, because there's a lot of crap that goes down that it's like is villainous, and vile and just horrible. But it's like it also makes me feel a lot of guilt for what I know is within me, being like, but how do I get better? Like, how do I not be so ragingly insecure? How do I not be, this person that I could have been, that I could still be? And it's like, oh, I don't know. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on that. If I should kind of share that aspect of, because it's, I hesitate to talk a lot about something that I really feel so strongly that I don't know anything about. Like, just I'm going into this like ragingly ignorant. They're just overwhelmingly ignorant. But there's no telling what we might learn together. So I was like, I don't know. I do not know. But I feel called down that path, if that makes sense, to kind of explore that and to try to find ways, because it's my insecurities will be like, I know first and foremost, something I do know, like with a capital K, know, is it's like oftentimes if something's really bothering me about an other person, that there's probably at least a grain of that in myself that I really dislike, and that's why I dislike it about this other person. It's not about them. It's like, instead of being critical or hard on somebody else, I should look inward and try to fix, or if not fix, at least improve that part of myself. And sometimes there'll be difficult people in my life and I'm like really just frustrated, and it's like, okay, why am I frustrated? Let's figure this out. So that was vague. But yeah, I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to think about that, because I am ready to do some growth and self-improvement. I hear a cat meowing. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna do some yoga with my niece, and I will see y'all in episode 5. So please leave any kind of questions that you guys might have about literally anything. If I don't know the answer, I can at least Google it and read the first hit for you. But leave those down below, and I'll see y'all in my next video. So until next time, you guys, keep on keeping on. Bye.